right, I'm gonna explain what this is. And I'll give you like a metaphor of like kind of, rather than go into like the scientific part of circadian rhythms, I'll help you like understand like basically in a nutshell what it is. So all living organisms on the planet are in a circadian rhythm. And what that means is up with the sun, down with the sun. So if you happen to look at cows or animals or horses, you know, in the pasture as you're driving along, you'll notice about 5 o'clock they start grazing and they start eating. That's their meal time, right? Because they're on the same routine. They know when it's 5 o'clock that it's time to eat. Then as the sun starts to go down, you'll notice that they kind of stop moving, they stop eating, they're getting ready for sleep. Some might lay down, not just, we're talking about like all animals. In addition to that, you may notice like flowers, they close up their buds at night and they are getting ready for their sleep, basically, right? So they do that on an automatic clock on their internal system because they're getting ready to go like down with the sun. Then at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, depending on where you live, you'll notice birds are chirping, sounds of animals kind of starting to wake up. Your dog might be at your feet, so all animals are coming awake with the sun. And so we are as well living organisms. And that's how our body is designed to work, go down with the sun and up with the sun. However, seeing where we are moving forward to this day and age, we have a lot of blue light, we have a lot of artificial light. And so we tend to stay up as late as we possibly can, turn on the lights of the house, we have electricity. And so now our circadian rhythm is off. So a lot of times you sleep in, the sun comes up, you're sleeping till 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Your circadian rhythm is not where it's supposed to be. So why is that important? It's important because when you are following your circadian rhythm, the way that your body is designed to work, you produce a hormone, a sleep hormone called melatonin. So you guys probably all know what melatonin is, right? Yeah. So melatonin is what helps you feel sleepy and it keeps you asleep. Your melatonin usually starts around sunset. And if you're not in as much artificial light, your melatonin is a little bit stronger. So your melatonin starts to get it starts to come on naturally, like as the sun goes down. By 10 or 11 o'clock, your circadian melatonin is kind of where you feel sleepy. And then once you fall asleep, what helps you get into that sleep cycle of being in the REM cycle is when your melatonin is the strongest. So you'll fall asleep and then your melatonin usually is the strongest like an hour to 2 hours. If you go to bed at 10, your melatonin is usually at its strongest between 12 and 1. So that's where you're really like in your deep sleep and where your body is starting to repair and restore and so forth. So last week we talked about there are 4 different stages of sleep. I'll give you a little mini deep dive into the 4 stages. We just kind of talked about how long they lasted last week. But in the stage 1, it's your light sleep and it lasts really short. It's like 1 to 5 minutes. You have the 4 stages that you repeat. You go stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you repeat it again all over again, like 4 times throughout the night. So your light sleep is you go through stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, you go finish your REM sleep, and then you wake up, and that might be where you turn over or you wake up and you're like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom or whatever. That's because you just finished your sleep cycle, all 4 stages, and you woke up to turn over to get more comfortable. That's what's happening. That's why you kind of tend to wake up in the night. Stage 2, again, lasts for about 10 to 25 minutes. And this is where your body temperature drops. And so it allows like the blood flow to just kind of like slow down, your heart rate slows down, your breathing slows down, your brain activity slows down, there are new brain patterns that happen, and your eye movement stops. This is where your body, this is stage 2, where your body is completely relaxed, okay? So now that you're completely relaxed, you'll go into stage 3, which lasts for about 20 to 40 minutes. And this is the stage that's just before the REM sleep. So this is also considered your deep sleep as well, but it's kind of before your dream state kicks in. So this is where experts believe that the most of the repair is done. For adults, this is where your cells and your muscles repair, your immune system repairs, your bodily functions start to repair. So if you have like any, kidney problems, liver problems, or whatever, this is where it's all starting to do its repair. So that's the stage 3. Now, stage 4 is the REM sleep that we talked about. It's called REM sleep because it means rapid eye movement, because this is where your dream state comes in and your eyes are moving rapidly. That's where the name came from. The first REM might only last for a couple of minutes, but as you repeat each stage, your REM lasts longer until your final REM sleep at the final end of your sleep cycle for the entire night will last the longest, like sometimes up to 60 to 90 minutes, depending on, who you are and how you sleep. So this is where dreams happen, and this is where your memories are stored. So, it's kind of like doing like a little behind the scenes processing thing. You're not really sure where the dreams come from or whatever, but memories are being put like into your memory bank while that's happening and your brain is repairing. So if you happen to have like a little bit of brain fog, or if you happen to have a little bit of like memory loss or anything like that, it might be because your REM sleep has been suppressed. So what that means is there are medications and alcohol, drug abuse, and things like that that suppress this cycle of your sleep. And so it's actually a term for it called REM deprivation. So if that happens and your, memory loss and so forth, this is where you might actually want to go and do like a sleep study. So you can find out like if you're getting there, how long you're there. And this goes for all the sleep cycles as well. That's what this is all general. This is all general information. I pulled most of the information I'm telling you from school, but I did have to Google a little bit. So I have a little bit of everything right now with the information I'm giving you. It also repairs your cognitive functions. So that means like when your brain is like strong and healthy, you're like, if you're a baseball player, like, you know what I mean? Like your reactions are much quicker. Your agility is a little bit quicker. So your cognitive brain also repairs during your REM cycle. So again, you do that 4 times. If you happen to wake up in the middle, you wake up for work with an alarm and you wake up feeling like tired and groggy, it might just be because your alarm went off or your child woke you up during stage 3 and stage 4. So throughout the day, you might wonder like, why am I so sleepy? That might be one of the reasons why. Make it a point to go to bed at an earlier time so that you can calculate so you're getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You know what I mean? So that way, if you did get woken up, then you at least have done like 3 cycles, maybe 4, right? So just giving yourself enough time. So I'm sure you guys have heard of blue light. What the blue light does, you've heard a lot about the blue light and everything, is it shortens your brain wavelengths. And so when you're going to sleep, you don't get to that REM cycle the way that you're supposed to get to it, or if you even get to it at all. So that's why they say the artificial light is like so bad for you, because you might not get to the deep sleep that you need for a long enough amount of time. When you're in too much artificial light, it takes longer for you to fall asleep. There's less REM time when you are sleeping. You have higher alertness before bed, especially if you're like watching a movie or something and it gets you like all worked up. So you've got, being worked up from the movie. And then secondly, you got the blue light in your face. It tends to lead to more stress, which raises more cortisol. And then you're back to the cycle of what we talked about in the beginning: weight gain, anxiety, depression. So you see the cycle, right? So here's the key. You can go to sleep even if you don't feel sleepy. So you have to set yourself like a very strict bedtime routine. So say you wake up at, I'm just going to use like my own self, for example. If you know you're waking up at 6, you should make it a point to try to go to bed at 10, even if you don't feel sleepy. So you can kind of set your own bedtime routine, but you have to stick to it. So if you're somebody that falls asleep with an iPad or your phone, movies, TVs, series, or whatever, you just have to take a couple weeks to break the habit. So you want to go to sleep at 10, so like 9:45, you take a shower, brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, read a book, and you do the same exact thing at the same exact time every single night for a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden your sleep routine has started, your melatonin knows exactly when to kick in, and your body knows what's happening next. So even if you think about it, even if you go to bed at 10 and you don't feel sleepy and you're laying there for 30 minutes and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't just lay here for 30 minutes, it's driving me crazy. Or you can sit there and watch TV for an hour. What do you think is the better choice? Right? Going to bed and trying to fall asleep and taking 30 minutes to fall asleep instead of keeping yourself awake an extra hour with a TV.